I'm going to make this as sweet, short, and simple as I can. To have an abundance mindset is to place no limitations upon your narrative to any particular circumstance. It is a mental framework that adheres towards a practical dynamic whereby there are more than just one set path, method, opportunity, and possibility to get to where you want. Whether your ultimate objective is physical, social, material, or professional, there are always multiple ways that you can discover, take, follow, and adopt along the way to better assist you in achieving what you want. Yes, realistically, we all have our own absolute limitations in terms of what we are capable of and the choices that are available to us. However, most of us don't get to explore, yet alone experience those limitations because we either are too lazy to try them out, too afraid to consider them, or too blind to even notice them. When we grow up to become adults, our minds slowly become more linear and rigid as we further develop our capabilities for critical thinking to help us navigate the world for survival. And unbeknownst to us, we start to lose our grip over the dynamic and creative side of our minds that we profoundly utilized when we were children. That playful, curious, and exploratory side of us that can come up with ridiculous and often hilarious ideas and concepts out of nowhere. Ever wonder why we felt so conceptually free when we were children? It's because we have absolutely nothing to worry about as we were still wholly dependent on our parents to take care of us. And that allows us to be the most immersive, imaginative, and creative as we can be, as we can push the extent of our fascination towards many objects and ideas upwards to borderline irresponsible and ludicrous. Now, of course, I'm not encouraging you to think completely like a child again, because that would be practically implausible for your adult life. I'm simply encouraging you to mix that curious, playful, and creative side of yours with that objective, direct, and critical side. Just don't be afraid to think outside of the box, take the path least explored, or even take momentary shortcuts or experiments. This way, you'll become more unrestrained, resourceful, and crafty when dealing with the circumstances around you, and you won't feel mentally stuck or frozen all the time. Now, oftentimes, as adults, we've become easily accustomed, acclimated, and complacent with things that are normalized or mass-utilized when it comes to ideas and methods regarding physical, social, or professional circumstances. Even if we adamantly know that some of them will not be beneficial for us or will not bring anything good for us, we often still strictly abide by those rules because we either know little else or we simply are too afraid or lazy to explore our options. Like the popular but foolish idea that salt, fat, and carbohydrates are bad for our diet, while in truth, an adequate amount of them are needed for our body to function properly and assist us in our specific objectives, like bulking for instance. And the utterly ignorant and delusional idea that being more vulnerable, impulsive, and emotional is the key to becoming a stronger individual. While in truth, the way to get stronger is to develop a profound level of awareness, understanding, and control over your emotional triggers or tendencies instead of setting them loose, no matter how you choose to cultivate it. Which brings me into what I've noticed the 3 most life-changing benefits that you can experience when you have an abundance mindset. Firstly, you'll become a lot less complacent. You will become more inclined to introduce your impositions to question and explore the extent of every circumstance and become more determined to find the answers that you want, instead of settling for less than satisfactory results. Secondly, you'll start to overthink less when it comes to failures and rejections, as you'll be more focused on further exploring your options or substitutes, gaining more knowledge and experience, and finding other opportunities to do better next time around. And thirdly, you'll be a lot less reluctant to ask for help, which may surprise you, gentlemen, but when it comes to abundance, it's all about working your way around the barriers by any means possible. And when you are unable to achieve that by yourself, outsourcing is one of the best ways to do that. The abundance mindset is always about forward thinking. What can we do better? What else is possible? What else can be done? What else we can change? What else we can capitalize on? What more can we learn? What should we do instead? It allows us to slowly remove those self-limiting or restrictive beliefs that we have been conditioned since childhood or that we have been influenced by the people around us. It compels us to keep on moving and break barriers through imposing all the possible elements that we can learn, acquire, and utilize to achieve our desired objectives. To adopt an abundance mindset is not exactly as hard as we think it is. What you have to do is simply bring yourself to momentarily compromise for other ideas and perspectives, self-conceptualized or not, to briefly influence you enough for you to make sound judgments and conclusions upon based on the conditions of your circumstances. Most of the time, without realizing, we hold on to our ego investments with regards to our independent routines and beliefs like a terrified toddler gripping onto his mother's hand. We refuse to let other perspectives influence us or immediately dismiss them as we hate the rusty and annoying feeling of cognitive dissonance. And that is why we become extremely defensive when one idea is objectively better than our own idea, because our illusion of absolute has been shattered. This will inadvertently make the extent of all your possibly available, applicable, and actionable options very constricted, which in turn will result in you putting all of your eggs in one basket, and thus creating a very narrow, tight, and scarce outlook on your circumstances. Momentarily compromising does not mean that you have to completely let go of your old routines and beliefs, or that you have to adopt every single new idea and perspective that comes your way. Though at first, it is more often than not necessary for you to be able to unlearn your old beliefs that doesn't serve you very well, which may make my earlier statement of being not as hard as we think it is a bit of an understatement. But in hindsight, it simply allows you to have more options to become aware of, explore around, and capitalize on should the situation fits. Which of course, consciously or unconsciously, allows you to grow further as an individual as it expands your reach of what can be plausibly possible. Thank you for watching.